Alright, what's going on? Today we're going to do a little trade recap. First, you guys are going to see my trade for today. And after that, we're going to show you, or Rio's going to show you his trade. You guys can compare, see the things that we did the same, what we did differently. And he actually entered on NASDAQ and I entered on S&P 500. But it's very similar price action. So you guys can see the slight differences in our strategies. First, I'll show you how I set up the chart. I like to start on the 1-day time frame, and it's pretty simple. All I do here is I find yesterday's candle, which is right here. I mark out the high and the low, which are these two orange lines. After that, I come down to the 1-minute time frame, and I'm going to mark out my sessions. So first we have Asia session. I'm in Pacific time zone, so for me, Asia session starts at 5 p.m. and it ends at 9. And then London session from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. And lastly, pre-market, which is from 4 a.m. all the way to 6:30. 6:30 is when market opens and when I start looking for potential trade setups. But before that, I need to see what price did leading up to that. So what that really means is I look for which highs and which lows have already been taken out. Of all the things that I just listed that I mark, I see which ones have already been swept and which ones have been untouched still. So here we can see Asia session came up, we swept out the previous day high. You can go ahead and remove that. It's no longer needed. After that, Asia session ends here. We come down, we take out the low. So we can delete that one too. Next we have London session right here. We come down and we take out previous day lows. So that's gone now. And then after London session, we came down even further and we took out London session lows. Now we're in pre-market, the high and the low right here. We can see 6:30 a.m. right here when market opened. We come down, we take out the low. So that was my liquidity sweep right there. After we took out the pre-market low, there were no more targets for liquidity, no more draws on liquidity on the downside. Of the previous sessions, they had all been taken out. Asia low was taken out, London low was taken out, pre-market low was taken out, and then previous day also was taken out. So all we have left now is the top side liquidities: pre-market high, London high, and Asia high. That right there gives me my bias. So after seeing that, I'm only going to take a long trade, a buy trade, if any. And my take profit would either be at pre-market, London, or Asia highs. So 6:30, market opens. I'm now looking for a potential trade. I'm marking out fair value gaps that I see being formed. Right here at the bottom of the sweep, we see this beautiful downside fair value gap, this beautiful sell side imbalance. The blue one right there. And then what happens right after? We form a, did I say buy side? This is a sell side imbalance. Right after that one, we form a buy side imbalance, an upwards fair value gap right here, which is an inverse fair value gap. When you have one fair value gap going one direction and then another one that opposes it right after, that's an inverse fair value gap. And that's the entry model that I like to use. So to go over my confluences, first I look for liquidity sweep, which was the sweep of these lows. Next, I look for inverse fair value gap right here. And then after that, I want to see the inverse fair value gap be tested and respected. Now, we actually did form a second inverse fair value gap right here. Right here, because we had one downside fair value gap right there and then one going to the upside. So there were two that I had marked out, and I was just waiting to see which one got tested and respected. We came down, touched right onto the border of this one. Didn't even go inside, but right at the border of it. And then we had the continuation back up. So that right there showed me that this is my fair value gap that I'm entering off of. I can go ahead and delete that one. And then after I saw the continuation candle close right here on the 1 minute, I went ahead and entered with my stop loss underneath the wick of this fair value gap and my take profit all the way up here at London session highs. We had Asia session highs even farther above it, but we had Jerome Powell speaking at 9, so I was trying to play it safe. I wanted to get out of the market sooner, and I went ahead and just took profit at London highs. It was a 1 to 2 risk to reward. It was my plan going in, so I'd say it was a good day for trading in terms of following my strategy. I did miss out on some extra profit if I'd held all the way to Asia, but again, I've learned the hard way that in trading it's oftentimes better to be safe than sorry, especially when you already have something like a 1 to 2 risk to reward. You don't want to get too greedy. So here's my notes that I wrote after the fact, just to show what I was thinking. We had the inverse fair value gap being retested right here. The continuation candle upwards closing right there. That was my entry. A 1 to 2 risk to reward, and London high as my take profit. Pretty simple, and simple is better when it comes to trading. If it's not obvious to you where price is going, it's better not to enter at all. So now you guys can see Rio's trade. Compare the two, see which one maybe would work better for you, which one you would be able to catch in the market if you were trading, and just realize that it's not one size fits all. Everyone's going to have their own slightly different approach, and that's totally fine. It's not that one strategy is better, but maybe one strategy is better for you.
Hi guys, back with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a short recap of today's trade. Today is Tuesday, October 14. The market just opened today, so this is my first trade for the week. So I mostly look at Asia session and London session highs and lows. We didn't take out Asia session high or London session high. We did take out session London low, London session low right here during pre-market. So I wanted to look for longs. So we come up, we have equal highs right here during pre-market. And then as soon as market opened, we saw price run down and run these pre-market lows right here. This one and this one. And after that, I wanted to see a sign of price wanting to reverse. So basically I have this fair value gap marked out right here. I wanted to see price disrespect that fair value gap, which it did on this candle right here, as you can see right here. As well, this candle also came down into this small fair value gap down here to the middle of it. So I actually ended up taking this trade, and I actually ended up going long right here. And my stop loss right here, and targeting equal highs right here. I could have targeted London session highs. As you can see, we did come up to London session highs, but I just didn't want to go for too much because we had news around that time, and I just wanted to be out of the market pretty early. So this was my trade for today. Honestly, it was a pretty perfect trade to me. It was an A+ trade, so yeah, we came down, took out London session low, came up, created equal highs. During market open, we ran down the pre-market low, 15-minute low. And then we have a reversal right here. We inverted a fair value gap. The same candle that inverted the fair value gap came in into the middle of this fair value gap right here. So basically, my break of structure is an inverted fair value gap, which is this right here, getting inverted. So that's why I entered right there. But most people would have probably waited for price to break structure right here, or break structure right here, which is this candle. So most people would have probably ended up entering the trade right here, and maybe even targeting Asia's London session high, or even Asia session high, which is way up here. But yeah, I just took a safe trade today. To me, it was a pretty A+ setup. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys trade and how your guys' trade went if you guys traded today. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hope you liked my video.